All right, welcome everyone to our October Town Council meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to go ahead and get started this evening. We're going to start it with our invocation by Councilor Morgan.
All right, before I get started, I just want to, if we would, maybe take a moment of silence for a true pillar of Knightdale's community, Jim Hart. He passed away. His service was earlier today. He was a founding member of the Veterans Advisory Board. He's American Legion member, and just a super nice man for anybody that knew Mr. Hart. So if we could just have a moment of silence, and then I'll give the invocation. Thank you, Lord, for this time to gather in this place to celebrate, to listen, and to act on matters that are important to our town. May our words, our thoughts, and our actions be pleasing to you, and may they be beneficial for all in our community. Amen.
Thank you. Next, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, we are pleased to have members of both PAC 347 and Troop 347 in attendance. PAC and Troop 347 are partner youth groups dedicated to preparing the next generation of leaders in the Knightdale area. The groups serve all school-age youth from kindergarten through high school in activities that promote citizenship, community engagement, personal fitness, teamwork, and being active. Both groups meet at Northside Community Church at 7 p.m. on Mondays during the school year, with the troop also meeting in the summer. You can find more information about the groups at www.pac347.org or www.troop347.org. At this time, I'll ask the Scouts to lead us now in our Pledge of Allegiance. All right, always a great moment. We're thankful to have them come in and lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance to get us started with our meeting this evening. Next, we're going to jump to the adoption of the agenda. Any changes to tonight's agenda, questions, comments, or motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We'll go with the agenda as is for the evening. Jumping into presentations, recognitions, and awards. Introduction of Administrative Assistant, Mrs. Morris.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I was still eating Skittles, so give me a minute, I'm sorry. Tonight, I'm excited to present to you all. As you can see, she's already working. This is Kayla Gibson. She is our new administrative assistant for the Community Relations Department. Kayla is a recent graduate of Hampton University with her master's in business administration. During her time as a student with Hampton, she interned with PricewaterhouseCoopers and the Hampton's Proton Cancer Institute. Kayla has a love for marketing and also for finance. Hint, hint, Antoine. She's excited to bring her enthusiasm and her skills here with us in the Community Relations Department. And not only that, Kayla is a Knightdale resident, so she came home after she graduated. Welcome, Kayla.
Welcome, Kayla. We're glad to have you, and welcome back home. Next is the introduction and oath of police officer, Chief Capps.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Always a pleasure to be able to come before you and introduce new members of our organization. As you know, we are working feverishly to find and hire and bring on board men and women who are dedicated to our mission, to public service. And this evening, we are very excited to be able to introduce to you our newest officer, Mr. William Weaver. And as he and his father are making their way to the podium, I'll mention that Mr. Weaver is no stranger to public service. He has been serving as a police officer for almost the last decade over in Wilson. He has a bachelor's degree from UNC Pembroke and brings with him a number of years of experience, several certifications. As you can tell, he has an extraordinarily strong support structure, and tonight we are very excited to be able to administer his oath of office. And Mayor, I believe that you're going to come around and help us out with that.
So if you just want to repeat after me. I, and state your name,
I, William Weaver,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as police officer,
as police officer.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Okay, you gotta look this way though.
Mr. Weaver, we're not quite done. Perhaps the most important moment that we engage in when we do this oath of office is the public challenge around our 5 rules. This is something that you've heard me talk about many times, something that I'm extraordinarily passionate about. And on the heels of this very public promise that you just made, now is the time to reinforce something that we've had a lot of conversations about already. There's a lot of rules, a lot of regulations, a lot of law, a lot of policy that guides the work that we do, and they're all important. But our expectations boil down to a handful of very simple and powerful tenets. Rule number 1, the mission comes first, and our mission is about other people. Our individual preferences, all of our personal loyalties, that stuff gets set aside. The mission always comes first. Rule number 2, you have to have an unwavering allegiance to our core values. Our core values are the things that identify who we are and what we believe in the most. And so the way that you engage with other people, speak with other people, the decisions that you make must be aligned with those core values. Rule number 3, tell 100% of the truth 100% of the time. Honesty really is the best policy. And in a time where the truth is not always popular and it has consequences, it's important. Rule number 4, remember this oath. It's a public promise. Perhaps not as important as your wedding vows, but very important nonetheless. Make sure that you honor that oath, never break it. And then finally, rule number 5, I can't expect perfection. That is not a standard that we can place on any human being, but we can ask our men and women who choose to serve in this profession to always give your best effort. The people that you work alongside of, the people that you serve in the community, and even for yourself, that's what matters. Give your best effort. And William, if you do those things, follow those 5 rules passionately and with all your heart, everything else will have a way of taking care of itself. Proud of you. Welcome aboard. Congratulations.
Once again, to both of you, welcome. We are glad to have you as part of Knightdale. Next is the Great Trails State Day proclamation. Knightdale's natural beauty is critical to our quality of life, health, and economic well-being. The trails that span across our community are an integral part of the recreational and transportation possibilities of our area and promote an enjoyment of scenic beauty by our residents and visitors. The parks, the greenways, the trails, and natural areas in our community are welcoming to all and provide a common ground for people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds to access our rich and diverse natural, cultural, and historic resources. Trails offer quality of life benefits to all as expressions of local community character and pride, as outdoor workshops for science education, as tools for economic revitalization, as free resources for healthy recreation, and as sites for social and cultural events. The North Carolina General Assembly has designated the 3rd Saturday in October as Great Trails State Day in North Carolina to promote and celebrate the state's extensive network of trails that showcase our state's beauty, our vibrancy, and our culture. In support of this designation, I, Jessica Day, Mayor of the town of Knightdale, do hereby proclaim October 18th, 2025 as Great Trails State Day in Knightdale, North Carolina, and commend its observance to all people. Furthermore, I urge all citizens to explore trails in Knightdale on this day and join other communities across the state in celebrating our trails on October the 18th. Next is our Community Planning Month proclamation. Change is constant and it affects all cities, all towns, suburbs, and counties. Community planning helps manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how residents work and live. It provides an opportunity for residents to be involved in making choices that determine their future of their community. The month of October is designated as Community Planning Month throughout the United States. During this month, we recognize how sound planning and plan implementation increases the quality of Knightdale's natural and built environment. We take this time to highlight how planning is essential to creating safe, resilient, and equitable communities. The celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of members of the Knightdale Land Use Review Board, participants of the Community Planning Academy, and other Knightdale residents who have contributed their time and their expertise to the improvement of our town. During this month, we also recognize the valuable contributions made by our professional planners here in Knightdale and extend our appreciation for their continued commitment to public service. So now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the month of October is hereby designated as Community Planning Month in the town of Knightdale. And now that we have proclaimed October as Community Planning Month, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Goodman to share about this year's Planning Academy.
Good evening, mayors and members of council. I'm happy to be here tonight on behalf of Development Services. Jason and a few others from the team are currently in Charlotte at the annual planning conference. So as the mayor just proclaimed, October is Community Planning Month, so what better way to celebrate than to recognize the participants of our recent Community Planning Academy. Over the past 3 weeks, 15 residents have dedicated their time and energy to learning about land use, zoning, transportation, the development process, and the many complex decisions that go into shaping a thriving community like Knightdale. So we really enjoyed the opportunity getting to know these residents and helping them learn and understand more about community planning and Knightdale's vision for growth. It's always our hope that these participants stay engaged and utilize what they've learned to make a positive impact on Knightdale's future. So at this time, I'd like to invite the Planning Academy participants who are in attendance tonight to come up and the mayor to come down, and we'll take a photo.
And with that, I want to thank our staff for taking the time for this Planning Academy, creating the space for that. And I also want to thank our residents of Knightdale, dedicated residents who said you wanted to take time out of your evenings to learn more about the town that you live in. And hopefully it's exciting you to want to do more, to get more involved. And we always have opportunities in Knightdale to do that. So thank you so much and look forward to seeing you around. Next is our public comment period. Is there anyone here tonight who wishes to address the council? If so, you may come forward at this time. All right. If not, at this time, I'll turn it over to our town clerk, Ms. Smith, to share written comments that have been received.
Thank you, Mayor Day. Good evening, members of the council, mayor. We did receive one written comment for tonight's council meeting. You have all received this comment via email, so I'll just briefly summarize. Arkna Ruiz, 319 Hester Street, expressed concerns with potholes on the road behind the Bojangles. Did want to note that staff has advised me that this has been repaired, but as always, the full written comment will be included in the official record of the meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Next is reports on citizens' inquiries. Are there any reports on citizens' inquiries from council?
I had one citizen contact me about a, I guess you'd call it an unkempt lot along Knightdale Boulevard that's been referred to the assistant town manager's office for enforcement, as I understand it.
Thank you for that update. Any others? All right, if not, we'll move to the consent agenda. Any questions or comments about the consent agenda or motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We'll move to our public hearings for the evening. The first one is AN-6-25, 2309 Marks Creek Road. Ms. Goodman.
Good evening again. Tonight I have for you the annexation of 2309 Marks Creek Road. This is a little bit different than some of the other annexations that you've seen recently. This is a town-owned property, so it is a town-initiated annexation. This parcel is 1.12 acres. It's located on the west side of Marks Creek Road, just on the east side of the Knightdale Station subdivision. And the current use is, it's a vacant lot. It's zoned GR3. The town purchased it in March of 2023 with maybe a future intention of having an extension to Carolinian Avenue, which would connect the Knightdale Station neighborhood to Marks Creek Road. This is just showing a recorded survey of the parcel. And then, as I mentioned, this is town initiated. At the September meeting, their council did adopt a resolution to set the public hearing and give notice for tonight's public hearing. A cost benefit analysis was not conducted for this annexation since it is town initiated, and the impacts to town services are negligible, and also there's not an established use. So a little bit different than the other annexations, but staff's recommendation tonight is to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 25-1015-001, which would effectively annex the area. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Goodman. Any questions, comments from council? Nope, hearing none. Thank you. This is a public hearing item, so at this time, we will open the floor. Is there anyone here tonight who wishes to speak on this item? If so, you may come forward at this time. All right. If not, then I will bring it back to council. Any final comments, questions?
I'm shocked there was not all kinds of people wanting to speak about this. No, kidding. I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 25-1015-001, effectively annexing the area.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. All right, and that's it for our public hearings for the evening. So next we'll move into our new business, Vision Zero Communications Plan. Mr. Tripp.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I hope y'all are doing well this evening. Tonight we're going to have a guest speaker from the Highway Safety Research Center at UNC Chapel Hill come talk about a Vision Zero communication plan. As you know, we are a Vision Zero community. We have a goal of 0 traffic fatalities and a goal of 0 serious traffic accidents. As part of that, we adopted a safety action plan in 2024 in December, and part of that plan was creating, one of the steps in that plan is to create a communication plan to better make the public aware of Vision Zero and the projects that we're undertaking, like quick build projects. A good example of a quick build we just did was on Parkside Commons, where we made it a 4-way stop instead of a 2-way. We had some accidents occurring where people had the right of way, but some of the people at stop signs couldn't see the cars coming in a little bit of speed. So we ended up making it a 4-way stop, and since then we've had no incidents. So things like that are really quick, but we want to let the public know what we're doing about Vision Zero and get them to actually give some input on areas that we need to focus our efforts. So I'm going to ask Dan to come up with the HSRC, and he's going to speak about this communication plan that they're going to be working on for us, and then I'll come back at the end.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Glad to be here to talk about this plan that we've been discussing for a little bit and getting underway on that soon. My name is Dan Jeline. I'm with the Highway Safety Research Center. I'm a researcher there. I'll share a bit about our team in a moment here, but I'll talk a little bit about this plan, communications plan, and how it relates back to traffic safety in the town of Knightdale. So this is our team. We're at the Highway Safety Research Center at UNC Chapel Hill, as well as the Injury Prevention Research Center. We've got planners, engineers on staff, as well as people who are well-versed in communications, marketing, PR, kind of bridging research to practice so we can help save lives by what we can learn from studying transportation safety. The purpose of this plan is to really align all of the strategic communications that the town is likely already doing in a number of different ways around this goal of preventing deaths and injuries. And so what we're looking at doing is coming up with clear, concise messages that connect the town's investments and the town's work back to this goal of safety, to continually remind residents or remind folks why this is being done. A lot of times when people see changes to their road, changes to an intersection, they might ask why is this happening? What's the purpose of this? And this plan will help everyone understand at the outset why these changes are being made and what that goal ultimately is for and how it benefits everybody. There are going to be 4 steps involved in development of this plan, or that the plan will involve. One of those is defining the audiences we want to reach. We're going to craft some messages around traffic safety that can be used in a number of different ways. We'll talk a little bit about delivering those messages, how to get them out there to the people who need to hear them. And then measuring the impact of the plan. Is it working? These efforts actually taking hold, or do we need to do something a little bit different? Defining the audience is pretty important, because if we go out there with general messages, as we've learned from research, they don't really resonate with anyone in particular if they're for everybody. We want to hone in on, well, who really needs to hear this? And that is the entire community, of course. But if we can think about subpopulations, organizations, local business, internal communications to town staff across departments about why we're doing this, teachers, parents, and students. A big part of the initial outset of the plan will be identifying who those groups are, who we want to reach, and at that point, we'll be able to shift then into how we can craft messages that will really resonate with them. That might be different for a parent, a teacher, or a student than it would be for the local business community when we're thinking about why we're making investments in traffic safety and what those mean for everyone. So we want to make sure that the town's investments, as I said, are connected in these messages, that each time the town rolls out a new project, a new intersection change, a trail, that the town understands how that is related to traffic safety, how that's making their trips safer, how that's protecting their family members and their neighbors. We want them to be clear and simple, no jargon. People don't need technical terminology. We want to bring it home and make it make sense to everybody. This is going to include, and I put some material here on both proactive and responsive messaging. I think it can be a way to market investments, to share what's going on with upcoming projects, but it can also be useful in helping to respond if there are tragic events that occur, if a crash does occur, bringing that point home if media reaches out to say, we are focused on traffic safety, we have a plan of action to respond to that. So preparing things like talking points to help in those kinds of situations will be a big part of this plan as well. And then finally figuring out, once we have our messages and we know our audiences, how are we going to deliver those in a way that makes sense to those folks? That could be through things, more traditional methods like meetings here, could be through PSAs, news ads, but it could be community events. We can do school-based outreach, education for students and for their families, some proactive media engagement as well as social media. A lot of different ways we can get things out, and I'm sure you all are doing a lot of that already. It's a matter of weaving that traffic safety message into those channels. And then finally, tracking and monitoring the impact of what's being done through this plan. We can collect numbers on how many people are seeing these messages and receiving them. We can identify metrics that will help us understand what's working and what isn't. And then finally, doing some things like surveys. I grabbed this image from a great survey you all did when you were developing your plan about how people actually feel about traffic safety in the town of Knightdale. Doing something like that, again, can help us continually have some information back from folks that can help, again, drive that messaging and steer the program in the right direction. The timeline is here. We're kicking off this activity this month, and it's going to last about a year. We're planning to deliver a draft plan to the town in the spring, and then having in the summer some opportunity to maybe pilot test some of those messages and some of those, depending on what kinds of projects are going on at that time, and then using that to finalize the plan about a year from now. And that's what I had for you. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Questions? Comments?
Just one thing, I really appreciate the work that your team's working on, Dan, and I saw our police chief over there really sort of plugged in, so I know as this gets developed that you'll certainly be reaching out to that group and the police chief and folks. I know Dustin will really have this sort of dialed into where it needs to be, but really looking forward to the work that's going to happen here.
Yeah, I think meeting with a lot of different folks in the town, law enforcement, of course, as well as others, I think will be an initial step. It's just learning more about what's happening and what needs to be part of this.
Thank you, Dan. So as Dan went through, we're really excited to get this project kicked off, and we're going to start really quickly here, start working on this. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Counselor. I appreciate that. So with that, what we are asking is that you vote to authorize the town manager to enter into a contract with the HSRC to complete a Vision Zero communications plan pending legal and financial reviews. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tripp. If there are no more questions or comments, is there a motion?
I'll gladly make the motion to authorize the town manager into a contract with HSRC to complete a Vision Zero communication plan pending legal and financial review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves, motion carries. Next is Operation Greenlight. Ms. Smith.
Good evening again. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight about Operation Greenlight. This is an initiative that is not new to us as a town, but wanted to take this opportunity to summarize for the community what this program is. So Operation Greenlight is a nationwide initiative. It was spearheaded by the National Association of Counties and the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers. The goal of Operation Greenlight is to raise awareness and shine a light on the challenges that veterans face, especially when they return to civilian life. And so by participating in Operation Greenlight, we're encouraging our community members, our business leaders, to light their homes, light their businesses green for a week in November, the week leading up until Veterans Day, to let our veterans know that they're seen and that they're supported here in this community. So we have been participating in this since 2022. So I have a couple photos here from past years. Every year we adopt a resolution in support of this initiative. We promote through social media platforms, and we make sure that our facilities and parks are illuminated in green. This year, Operation Greenlight will be in effect from November 4th through November 11th. And so with your support, we would work with the Community Relations Department to get messaging out to the community so that we can try to get as much participation as possible, and have our Public Works Department support us in making sure that our town facilities are participating as well. So with that, it is staff's recommendation that Mayor Day share the resolution in support of Operation Greenlight, and that you adopt the resolution so that we can do that this evening. And I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. And now, at this time, I will read the resolution in its entirety. Supporting Operation Greenlight for active military service members in transition to civilian life. Whereas the town of Knightdale has great respect, admiration, and gratitude for the men and women who have selflessly served their community and this community in the armed forces. And whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women that served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas there are approximately 700,000 veterans in the state of North Carolina, with over 50,000 of them residing in Wake County. And whereas veterans continue to serve their communities in the American Legion, veterans of foreign wars, church groups, and civil service. And whereas approximately 200,000 service members transition to civilian life annually. And whereas studies indicate that 44 to 72% of service members experience high levels of stress during transition from military to civilian life. Whereas active military service members transitioning from military service are at high risk for suicide during their first year after military service. And whereas the Knightdale Town Council appreciates the sacrifices our United States military personnel made while defending freedom and believes specific recognition be accorded them in appreciation of their service and to demonstrate the honor and support they have earned. So now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Knightdale hereby declares November 4th, 2025 through November 11th, 2025, a time to salute and honor the service and the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform transitioning from active service. Be it furthermore resolved that the observance of Operation Greenlight, the Knightdale Town Council encourages its citizens to recognize those who have been helped to preserve freedom by displaying a green light in the window of their place of business or residence. And now, if there are no questions or comments with the resolution, is there a motion for the resolution?
So moved. Move to adopt.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. Thank you so much. And next is the advisory board and committee reports. This is an opportunity for council members to share any updates from any recent advisory boards, any committees. Are there any updates to share?
I guess from a transportation standpoint, a lot of folks have seen all of the earth moving for the final phase of 540. Very thankful for that to get underway. It's getting to a point to where it will start impacting the Neuse River Trail, where it will cross over the Neuse River Trail. There's a commitment in that project, as I understand it, to keep that trail open for folks using the trail 365 days a year during daylight hours, but been told that, heavy equipment will start crossing the trail and needing to access points in that area. So anybody that's down on that section of the trail just needs to be aware. Also, a little bit outside our jurisdiction, but Rock Quarry Road will be closed soon. I can't remember the exact dates, but they'll have to be doing some open cutting to get some lines put in there. I think it's going to take about 3 days. We're working on a plan to get better communication from DOT and others on roadway projects. It's just, we talked a little bit about communications. We do, I think, a really good job here in Knightdale, but obviously DOT is a very big organization, and sometimes even the most minute details of a project could impact a business or something. So we continually work on that, commend staff on that. And also I met earlier with staff. We're working on, and they're working on developing some projects for our Metropolitan Planning Organization, CAMPO, the major transportation planner here in the Triangle area, to do some studies for congestion relief and maybe some safety relief. Hopefully have some more updates on those. And we'll keep our fingers crossed that they're accepted, and we can maybe get some further updates at a time in the future. So that's all I had sort of on that, but sort of important stuff, neat stuff.
Any others? Okay. If that is all today, this concludes our meeting. May I have is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Majority approves. Motion carries. We stand adjourned for this evening. Thank you so much for joining us for our town council meeting this evening, especially to those that were in our planning academy. We appreciate you joining us. Have a good evening.